We things and the decisions of the Holy Canon 28 of Cal. I got the canons here. Let's see. I think it's Canon 28 where this also is problematic for the Roman Catholic position, because if you look at Canon 28 of Chalcedon, it says, following all things, there's a gnat in here. Following all things in the decisions of the Holy Fathers, notice the appeal is to canonical tradition, not divine revelation, but custom and the decisions of the Holy Councils. We acknowledge that the canons, which has just been read, of the 150 bishops assembled at Constantinople, so they're appealing to Constantinople I, which is the new Rome. It is the city of Theodosius, of happy memory. We enact and decree the things concerning the privileges of this most holy city of Constantinople to be New Rome, for the fathers rightly granted privileges to the throne of old Rome because it was the royal city. What does Chalcedon in Canon 28 say is the reason that Rome, old Rome, papal Rome, had privileges in the canons and in the councils? Because it's the imperial city and the canons gave it honor. Nothing to do with infallible Peter stuff in this canon. Now, you're going to say, well, the Pope rejected this canon. I know that. I know. Of course he did. The papacy had to reject this canon, right? Because already by this time, and I'm not saying that Pope St. Leo and successive popes were wrong. I'm saying that the beginning of the evolution of the Roman Catholic Vatican I scheme is already beginning here. Again, not saying that they're not saints, but you can be a saint and have things wrong. St. Augustine got things wrong. St. Gregory of Nyssa got things wrong. What I'm saying is that the mind of the church is ecumenical, and the mind of the church is not going to immediately split because one bishop is starting to claim privileges, because the Roman See had privileges. But where were those privileges derived from? Well, in the mindset of the fathers of Chalcedon, it was derived from the previous councils. Not by divine decree, not by the power of the Holy Spirit given to Peter, but by the canons of the councils giving preeminence to the old imperial city. Now, this canon is amazing because it goes on to say, however, the special privileges should also be given to the Holy Throne of New Rome, as was mentioned in Constantinople I, and therefore it gave Constantinople equal privileges of Rome. So again, let's set aside the Roman Catholic arguments about, because I know all the stuff that they're going to say. I know they're going to say that, but this canon wasn't accepted by later popes. I know that. My point, again, is to show that there are many such canons, right? Canon 6 of Nicaea, right? Canon 28 of Chalcedon, that continue to demonstrate that the mindset of the rest of the church at the council is not Vatican I. So how can Vatican I be the true Catholic position when it's contrary to the entire mindset of the church? It's crazy. So now you can start to see it from our vantage point, right? From the Orthodox vantage point, which is that the seat of Rome had privileges. This is really windy here. It had privileges. Those privileges were accorded to it in the decisions of the councils. It wasn't magically there because of Peter. This is the idea that it's magically there because of Peter is something that begins to evolve, and you see people start making these arguments. The Roman bishop will start appealing to that. But the fact that the rest of the whole East didn't immediately sever from him because he appealed to that is not proof of Vatican I either. People wanted to maintain the unity of the church. They don't want to divide over these things. Just like in the Orthodox Church right now, there's the exact analog of this, where Bartholomew is acting and claiming things like the Pope. He's doing the same thing. And what's the response? People are trying to maintain the unity. They're trying to get a council to deal with that issue. The point is that the problems that we have in Orthodoxy today are the exact same types of problems that the conciliar church had in the first 7, 8, 9 centuries. It's the same. People saying, I have jurisdiction over everything. I can do this. No, you don't. Let's hold on, slow down. So the point is that it takes centuries for this to evolve, and it comes to a frothing, boiling point at the split, at the schism between the East and the West, right? So it's not overnight. It's not in 1054. There's already problems in the Latin Church prior to 1054 that we had problems with, okay? They had already started introducing innovations like the statuary, like the filioque, under the Carolinian theologians, the forbidding of paedo communion. A lot of those problems were already there prior to 1054. It's just that 1054 was the big dividing point publicly in terms of splitting in terms of excommunications. But there was already problems in the Latin Church prior to that. But this canon in 28 goes on to say, New Rome has equal privileges because of the Holy Senate, because of the sovereignty of the city, and it has all of the equal privileges of the Old Rome, and it should, in ecclesiastical matters, also be as magnified as Rome is, and rank next to her. So in Pontic, in the Pontic and in Asia and in Thracian dioceses and in the metropolitans, only such bishops as of the dioceses aforesaid are among the barbarians should be ordained by this most holy throne of the Holy Church of Constantinople in the imperial city. Every metropolitan of the aforesaid diocese, together with his bishops and his province, should be ordained in his provincial bishops, and this has been decreed by the divine canons. By the way, nothing about the Pope deciding every bishop and every patriarch. Obviously he didn't. That's so stupid. But what I'm saying is that this canon shows you the mindset of Chalcedon was not papacy in Vatican I. And I know, I don't care the fact that later Roman bishops don't accept this canon. I know that. But it doesn't matter because I'm just trying to show you that their whole mindset is not Vatican I. And then it goes on to say that this is according to custom. So the Roman Patriarchate